What's going on, guys? Tony here, CCxRC, and we've got another RC on the bench from GearBest. It is a DHK Optimus XL. It's a 1/8 scale buggy. And some of you'll know, you've seen the other video I did on the ZD Racing 1/8 scale buggy. And you may have seen some of the videos that I'd done after that. I'd actually chosen that one over this one when they asked me to send something, because the price was much lower on that, and I thought that there was a lot of people asking me for cars in that range or that price range. So I didn't ask for this, but apparently they wanted me to review it because they ended up sending it to me, and I'm excited to open it up. I mean, I like the 8 scale buggy platform. I haven't really had them before, and so for outside and the trails that I run, it's a great size. And so we'll take a look at it. I know that I like the DHK Zombie. It's one of my favorite trucks that I've gotten from GearBest, up there with the Bison. Really solid, tough truck. And this looks to share a lot of the parts from this really rad rig. And so we're going to go ahead and open up this box. I do want to give an update on the ZD Racing. I can't say that I had any issues with it that were the fault of the car. It's not a waterproof vehicle, and I soaked it in water. But it looks like the only thing that went bad is the servo. So I went out and bought another servo, and so I'll have a running video for that for you guys, hopefully in the very near future. So the people that were interested in that car, hold on tight. I'll get you some footage of it. You know, I won't make any judgment based on steering because that'll be a little bit different. But I think the rest of the handling of the car looks pretty slick. So we'll get into that later. Let's open up this Optimus XL for you guys. All right. So let's look at some of the packaging first and talk about the specifications before we get in and actually look at what they are. First of all, we'll notice that it comes with two 2S LiPo batteries. There's a couple configurations. This one has 2S 3200 milliamp LiPo batteries with a balanced lead charger and a 2-channel pistol grip 2.4 gigahertz receiver. There looks like there's an option that has like a computerized one. That's not what this has in it. We'll spin the box around one more time for you here. Over here we'll see aluminum shock towers, oil-filled threaded shocks. That's going to be slick. Chassis bracing, that's aluminum as well, just to stiffen it up a lot. And large 17mm hex mounts, which is fantastic. So those will be nice and beefy and tough, and you'll be able to swap them out with other 17mm hex style wheels. I think that's it as far as the packaging goes. So let's open it up. Alright, so here's our transmitter. We'll just go as we get things out. Take a look at it. It's the same one that the DHK Zombie uses. As you can see here, it's a decent controller. I've made fun of the looks of it, you know, not winning any style awards, but that's okay because it actually works quite well. So you've got your steering dual rates, throttle trim, steering trim, reverses for throttle and steering, and your on-off switch here. So this takes, I think they're four AA batteries, so it doesn't break the bank on AA's. But I like that it doesn't have like a bendable or a foldable antenna on it. It's nice and rugged this way out on the trails. All right, will the car pull out here? Here we go. We'll look at the charger. It's a V3 2S 3S balanced charger. That'll take a 2 or 3S battery. These take quite a while to charge, probably 4 hours or so to charge up a battery, and there are two. It's also a European style connector. And so the people in the US need a little $2 adapter to be able to use this and charge it. Not a big deal. I just buy those things in bulk and I'm good to go. In the bag we've got very few things. It doesn't look like it comes with any tools or anything like that. So you'll have to supply your own tools to get off the wheels. Not a huge deal. A couple of instruction manuals. Got an instructions for your controller and then one for the buggy itself, which will give you parts listings, breakouts, stuff like that to show you how to work on the vehicles. This is pretty standard stuff. Won't really get into that. See, it looks like it should come with the wheel chuck, so maybe that's in the car. We'll see when we open it up. I won't say that it's not there yet, but I'm not seeing it anywhere in what I'm looking at the moment. We've got a fin. I actually like this one because it just uses a couple of clips to hold it in place. versus the one on the ZD Racing was kind of a bit of a pain in the butt to put on, I will say that. So there she is. Feels really good. Give you a look at it here. First thing I'm noticing are the tires are really grippy. Have a nice foam in them. It's pretty stiff, and yet still rubbery and enough grip to it. So that feels good. Let's take off the body for a second here and take a look at what we've got on the inside. It's a really sleek, low profile body, considering all of the stuff that's on the inside here. This is a pretty beefy setup for this buggy, with the stiffening braces here that are made out of aluminum, and then we're going to have dual batteries. Now, I wonder why the buggy does this and the monster truck doesn't. That's wild. I would think I would love to have the Zombie with dual batteries. Alright, so let's take a look at the batteries here and how they're put in. So it's got a plastic bracing on it that just pops open, and they kind of flip back like so to be able to remove your batteries, which is pretty slick if you're using their batteries. I wonder how it'll work with some other ones. It's probably going to be limiting on the capacity because of this, but I'm not sure. These actually look like the same as a 5,000 milliamp in size, so this must be, the casing must not have be filled completely with battery. So, or at least that's what it looks like to me. We've got Dean style connectors, which is fantastic. Our on-off switch is on the top. It's got like a little rubberized part on it because this is semi-waterproof. I won't say that it's full waterproof, and I hope not to test it like I did the the ZD Racing when I messed that up. The 100 amp ESC is waterproof, which it says right here, WP, and it's 100 amp. This works fantastic on the Zombie. The issue that I've had with that, and may have with this, is that it comes out. The mounting and the way that it's in here has been problematic for me, and so I ended up actually on the Zombie running through these two holes on the bottom, a zip tie, and just strapping this thing down, which has worked well. So we've got our 2030 kV motor here, nice big motor. We've got a metal pinion gear but a plastic spur gear, which again isn't the end of the world. A lot of vehicles will do this. That is upgradable, but it's also a nice brake point that's usually pretty easy to fix. This is actually running a differential here in the center, and so it's a 3 differential vehicle. Down below here we'll look at the 9 kilogram ounce servo, and that's a metal geared DHK. It's got a servo saver, but you'll just notice there's so much gold on this. This is all aluminum chassis, all these platings here on our arms for the steering. We've got aluminum as well in here. This back brace, they've got nice like cabling straps here that you can use to route your cables and keep them clipped in. In the back we've got aluminum shock towers, back and front I should say, so that's nice. We'll get a nice close-up while we're still zoomed in here of our shocks, which are oil filled. Now these are aluminum, the actual bodies themselves, as well as the adjustable ring here. We're running dog bones for our powertrain to the wheels. Everything, you know, adjustable cambers on these. We're gonna look at the rear of the truck here. Same thing with the shocks, with the aluminum. We've got, you know, a pretty beefy plastic fin holder here. This is usually something that I tend to break off on vehicles the way that I drive them. You know, I'm not a super mechanical guy or electrical guy. It's kind of where I fall short. I'm more of a techie guy, and I just love to drive RC cars. And so a lot of this stuff is things that I'm still learning, you know, over time, about all the differences in the different parts and the names and the conventions and all that. So here we've got our receiver in here. This casing does not really feel waterproofed. You could put a nice bead of marine grease around this probably to help kind of seal that off. But again, I'm not, with the buggies, I'm not really thinking of running this in water anyway, intentionally. This is going to be more of a track car and just a jumping basher. So a lighter, I think, probably a lighter basher, but it does seem like a pretty beefy vehicle. Here you can get a look at the 17mm hexes on the wheels, which are aluminum. The nice grippy treads on this. Standard kind of style buggy front bumper, very small, compact. But overall, I mean, everything about it, it feels really solid. I mean, there's actually a lot of weight in the back. You can see it. It'll bounce a little bit, just the recoil from the weight on this, on the shocks. But there's definitely enough spring in these to try and keep this chassis from slapping too hard with all this extra weight of the dual batteries. So we've got like a plastic bumper around the outside of this aluminum chassis. This thing is built like a tank because it looks identical to the one on the Zombie, so I know this can take abuse. One thing I'm going to point out right away is you can see these 4 screws. Immediately, if you get this, take these out, put some blue Loctite on them because they go into a metal housing here that holds your motor in place, and this does loosen and those do fall out, and I'm actually missing one on my Zombie because of that. And I actually blue Loctite in mine, so one of them I must not have hit hard enough or with enough of the locker to keep it in place. And I don't like the antennas coming out, so I just kind of tuck it inside because it always falls off on me if it's sticking out when I crash. So, alright, so let's do a quick side-by-side interior comparison between this and the Zombie. I will say that mine is not super clean. I have not cleaned it since the last run that I took it out on. You can see right away the parts that are shared. Up in the front, you've got the same mounts for your shocks. The shocks are the same. The arms actually look quite similar for your wheels. Your C-hubs look very similar. All the chassis bracing, all of that is the same. The difference is going to be the batteries bracket or mounting here. So instead of going for the Velcro like the Zombie, you've got this this dual stack tray with the plastic housing. I do find it interesting, and I kind of like the dual battery option for this one. And if all of this is the same, I wonder about doing that over for the Zombie as well, because the motors are the same. It looks like the got the same setup with the ESC. You can see here what I've done with this ESC to kind of hold it so it'll move around, but it won't come out because we've wrapped it through the wires here, and then we've pulled it across the bottom here. And so I may end up doing that as well right out of the box with this Buggy just to keep it in place. But pretty similar cars. The fins on them look the same. Yeah, everything. I mean, these ones they've added the little body posts to that aren't on here because they've got them coming off the center. And but that's the main difference. Same receivers, same wire routing and everything on these. So they're both running center diffs, 3 diff vehicles, which is nice. And I can only hope that this runs as well as the Zombie because I know I like the Zombie a lot. If it ran even better, that would be amazing. Here's a look at the 2 vehicles side by side. The width in the stance is going to be higher with this just because of the tires. But when you actually get them over each other, where your parts all line up as far as your C-hubs and all of that is the same. It's just the way that the tires mount on that is different. Because the hexes on these go to the outside of the tires, and on here they're more centralized where they actually mount in, and so you've got more interior or more exterior. It just feels like a wider car, but it's mainly in the tire that you get that extra width. It's not in any of the build of it. So it looks like the exact same basically roller to me between these two, which is a good thing. Again, like I said, the Zombie is a real beast of a truck, and so the more similarities that this could have with this means that I'll probably really enjoy driving this car. So we'll see how it goes out on the trail, what kind of speed it's got. It says that it does 50 plus miles per hour, which this one definitely doesn't do, so maybe it makes up for it somehow. I would hope that it means that we're going to be able to run 4S with the 2 batteries that are included, and maybe that's where it gets the extra speed from. All right, so that's a quick look at the DHK Optimus XL 1/8 scale buggy. It looks like a really tough basher type buggy to me. So I can't wait to get this on the trails, get it flying through the air, take it on a track, and just beat it up and see how it does for you guys. Because that's really what this channel started as, and that's still my favorite part of this hobby. More than unboxing these things, I just like to be out running them. It doesn't matter what I'm running. I do like it to be able to fly through the air, and so if this can do that, and it can do it without breaking too much, I'm going to like it. So my requirements for RCs may not be as high as some people, especially people that race them and tune them to death. I want mine to be able to handle well. I want them to be rugged, I want them to be tough, and I want to be able to just abuse them. Run them in a lot of different terrain. And so, again, I have high hopes for this one based on the DHK Zombie, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite trucks. And so if this can give me a buggy style version of that with a little bit more control in the air and just handling, just because of the way that buggies run, I think I'm really going to love this car. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Have fun RCing. We'll catch you next time.